Well, you may have seen some of the headlines and noticed that in some states, the inventory levels are starting to go up a little bit. Sellers are cutting prices. It's taking longer to sell. And occasionally, somebody will reach out to me and say, Tony, why hasn't my house sold? I can't get it sold and I don't know why. Well, I've got one of those right here today. We're going to go take a look at it and see what this property is all about. He's had it on the market for a while. This is an investor seller that came to me through a referral. And now we're going to go take a look at his property and determine what it's going to take to get this house sold. I'm Tony. This is Run the Comps. Here we go. Right, so we're here in Mesquite, Texas today. Mesquite is a suburb just to the east of Dallas. And we're in a neighborhood where most of these homes are 2 and 3 bedrooms. Some of them have a bath, some of them have a bath and a half, some have 2 baths if they've been upgraded. This neighborhood was developed mostly in the late 50s and early 60s. Nearly all of the houses throughout this area look just like this one behind me, or very similar to it anyway. Most of them are all built on a slab foundation. Very few of these are bigger than about 14 or 1,500 square feet. This area of Mesquite is notorious for foundation and soil movement, causing these houses to shift a lot, and lots of foundation repairs having to be made on these houses in this neighborhood. So that's something that we're going to be looking for when we go and tour this property here on Why Hasn't My House Sold. So let's go in and see what's going on here. So our subject property today originally was a 3-bedroom, 1 bath. The garage has been converted into an extra bedroom, and there's an extra half bath in there. We'll take you in and let you see some of that. You can see this driveway here is really cracked up pretty bad and very representative of what I was talking about when I was saying that a lot of these houses generally experience some foundation shifting because of the movement in the soil around here. Let's go in and take a look and see what we have. Probably the first thing I notice here is that the floor is dipping towards the back, towards this refrigerator here. There's a big settlement crack right down the living room wall here, and then the whole room just goes down that way to that corner. There's some damage to the flooring down here. Looks like there was some water building up down here, some moisture damage. It looks like these floors are not in great condition. Then we've got the rest of the kitchen here. Oven range is missing a knob, looks pretty well used. The dishwasher is not really mounted in there correctly, so there's a lot of details that probably should be done to make this house present better on the market. Let's go take a look around the corner here. This is the area where the garage was converted, and the floors in this room are really sloping pretty hard. You can see right here underneath the carpet, there's a huge crack in the concrete, and this room is going up. So just as we were coming in the other room adjacent to this one, the room goes down towards the back of the house. There's another settlement crack right here in this wall, which is adjacent to the one in the room next door. So I'd say this house does have some foundation issues. Here's the half bath. You can see again, flooring is not all that great. Probably just needs to be redone. And then we'll go on back through the rest of the house. Now, this property was purchased by an investor. That's the seller now. He's an investor. He bought this property around 2018 and did a complete renovation on it at that time. He says he did some foundation work at that time. There's some more settling cracks right by the window. I mean, this is just all over. You got them everywhere. So these are very telltale signs of foundation settlement. Anyway, this investor, he bought the house 2018, did a lot of renovations in here and had it rented ever since. I guess his most recent tenants have vacated, and now he's just looking to sell the house. He's had it on the market through another agent, and they priced the house at, I think, originally around $215,000. And my seller has an appraisal in hand from last year that says $220,000, but they listed the property at $215,000 in this condition. And again, this floor is sloping towards the back, going down towards the back. You got another bedroom over here. We've got the 3 bedrooms. Oh, look over here. This one, really exceptional settlement crack right there. And that sort of gives you an indication of which way this foundation is leaning. Here's the full bathroom. So the investor seller, he's had this house on the market. Like I said, they originally listed it at $215,000, and now they have reduced the price down to $195,000. And I think he really wants to sell this property, but there are no takers at that price. So like I said, this investor, he has an appraisal in hand that says the house is worth $220,000, but I think that $220,000 is really more reflective of a house that's completely renovated, fixed up, ready to move into, no foundation problems, good roof, good systems. They haven't found any takers even at $195,000 on this one. So what would be the strategy that we have to employ for something like this? I'm out here in the backyard now. A lot of people don't have garages around here, so they build sheds, have makeshift storage areas. So that's what you got to do to keep your stuff dry. There's a lot of folks around the backside here. You can see some of these folks that live on the street back there. There's a barn over there, barn in the house behind us. So a lot of people, they build some outdoor storage because they don't have garages. A lot of the garages get converted around here. So back to what I was saying, that is, what do we do? What kind of strategy should we employ here? I'm thinking price is really what the issue is here. Property's just been priced too high for its condition, and it's going to need some work. And I think the next buyer should probably also be an investor. Let's take a closer look. I'm out here in the backyard. I want to take a closer look at some of the potential foundation work that needs to be done. Let's check that out here. I am done fighting traffic and I'm back in the office now. I've just run the comps on this house in Mesquite, and while I suspected earlier when I went to see the house that it was likely overpriced for that submarket over there, well, when I went inside and I saw what kind of condition it was in, I was pretty sure at that point that the house was overpriced. Generally, a sale only happens when the condition and the price are aligned. If your condition is way down here and your price is way up here, you're probably going to have a real hard time selling that property. If your condition is way up here and your price is down here, you might be leaving money on the table. So you want to get those things aligned just right, because that's where the sale happens. Now I've got a lot of market data to back up what I'm saying, and I'd like to show you. So let's have a look. Okay, here is the CMA for sold properties, what I call the trailing 6 months or the last 6 months of sales for properties in that submarket where our subject property is located. And over the last 6 months, there were 16 sales in that submarket with prices that range from about $190,000 up to $260,000, which is what we are establishing our price bracket to be. Now, there is one low side outlier, I call it, that sold for $130,000, and we'll take a look at that in just a minute. Let's take a look at those highlighted comps that are on the CMA sheet, and we will start with property at 1209 Greenbrier. Can we get some pictures up here? That would be great. This house sold for $230,000. You can see it's got very similar styling on the outside. The kitchen is nicely updated and upgraded, so that one sold for $230,000. The next property at 2013 Del Oak, a little bit different styling on the outside. It's got a converted garage as well. But look at that kitchen. This house has been completely renovated and upgraded on the inside, and it sold for $220,000. Then there's the property at 1501 Rusk. It's a little bit different styling on the outside. It looks like it's probably got a garage attached to it there. But when you look at that kitchen, the kitchen hasn't really been updated. It's a little better, maybe well kept. I don't know. This one is probably a little more aligned with our subject property, and it sold for $190,000. And then there's the property at 2027 Mount Pleasant. You can see the outside is pretty well kept. It's got a carport, but on the inside, it's mostly original from 1962. You can tell from this kitchen, it's very old and outdated. And that's what leads to the lower sale price of $130,000 on this property. All right, before we talk about our potential sale value conclusions, I want to show you one more thing, and that is the rent comps in this neighborhood. Let's get that rent CMA up here on the screen, okay? And you can see here that we've got 9 rental properties over the last 6 months. So these 9 properties have rented out over the last 6 months at prices beginning at $1,650 all the way up to $2,000. And I think that our subject property is right in there in the median. Once it gets fixed up, of course, I think this property would easily rent for $1,700 to $1,800 a month.